Hello and welcome to Association of MBAs TV. This year's conference is in the stunning surroundings of Geneva, a suitable place for the elite of MBAs from all over the world to meet and discuss the future. One of the key themes for 2011 is the continued evolution of the MBA, a big talking point among delegates there. And our man Lloyd Bracey is there now. Lloyd, what have people been telling you?
Yes, Martin, against this celebrated backdrop, the delegates are indeed considering the very future of the MBA, and they've also been intrigued to hear about the major disruptions facing the business world in the near future. Find out what they are later in the programme.
Also coming up in the programme, the Saudi school getting students ready for business in today's world. The Indian school stretching the imagination of its students. And the classroom with one of the best views in the world. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, all places associated with the prosperity in the Middle East. But there's a new player that's beginning to make waves across the continent and the world with a business school to match. King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah is producing high-caliber MBA graduates ready for the challenges of global business. Paul Brennan has more.
King Abdulaziz University is firmly established as a leading educational institution, not only in Saudi Arabia, but around the world.
We have a good relationship with all of the universities in the world, to the point that we have some MOUs with more than 100 of these universities, and we have combined research projects with more than 60 of them.
Academic excellence is reflected in the Faculty of Economics and Administration, which is accredited by the Association of MBAs and other leading institutions.
Our accreditation plan and strategic plan has been accepted by the initial accreditation committee of the AACSB, and we will soon apply for the AQUIS. We are working now on completing all the eligibility requirements.
Pioneering, King Abdulaziz University was the first in the region to offer MBA programs to both men and women.
Female students are performing much better than their male counterparts, and they are quite excited to know, especially about the subjects in management, in business, and they look forward to learn more, especially when they think about their future careers.
Now I can apply at Unilever, at P&G, like any guy. I have the same opportunity to work in a big field, in marketing, in accounting, in any field that was only for guys.
King Abdulaziz University first opened with 100 students. Now encompassing 6 campuses in and around Jeddah, more than 100,000 students enjoy state-of-the-art and virtual study facilities, as well as distance learning opportunities.
We do really make an effort to bridge the gap between the theory and the real world, and so we use various techniques like comprehensive cases and simulation methods, and there is a lot of emphasis on class engagement.
We are focusing more on their analytical skills, so that when they go back to their companies, they can become better managers, they can take better decisions. So that is the main focus of our teaching, not only to develop theoretical knowledge, but how to apply that theoretical knowledge on their jobs.
Each year, hundreds apply for a few dozen coveted places on the MBA program, which also has excellent interactive relations with many multinational companies based in the region.
The professors here are very qualified. Most of them, they're in the business field already. They're really dedicated to the college. They're really willing to share their experience, and that will, of course, will benefit to us beside the program.
You get the best of the students who really are working in highly reputable organizations, so they add value to other students in the program and, of course, to themselves.
Visionary and progressive, King Abdulaziz University is truly a world-class institution, serving both its students and the international business community today and in the future.
But before all that, let's cross back to the conference floor where the speeches are underway. Lloyd, what are they saying?
This session is about management education. They started with a very lively keynote speech challenging their position in the world as providers of MBAs, and this afternoon they'll be talking about the future of the MBA.
The world we live in is full of challenges. We have natural challenges. In the room today we have colleagues from New Zealand that underwent an incredible disaster of recent times. We have colleagues from Japan who have suffered immeasurable loss and yet on the world stage showed incredible dignity in that loss. We have colleagues here from countries like Portugal and Greece who are not suffering the natural disasters but great economic challenges and financial challenges in a world where we are only just beginning to recover and understand what had happened in the global financial crisis. There is a heavy weight on our shoulders as educators of the next generation of leaders.
This is a stakeholder concept. So stakeholder concept means that business is part of society. Business should serve society. Business has a number of stakeholders. It has the shareholders as stakeholders, it has its employees, it has its clients, it has the government, and so on and so on. And management should act as the trustee of all stakeholders and not only of the shareholders. Now, of course, you have conflicts. But what is the common interest of every stakeholder? It's the long-term prosperity of the company. And in some way, management is responsible to achieve this long-term prosperity. Now, what happened in our system over the last, let's say, during the exuberant times, was that management became associated with the shareholders through benefits, through financial benefits. So management became more and more aligned with the objective of the shareholders only, losing the perspective of serving all stakeholders. And there was another element. The shareholders themselves became much more short-minded because you had different developments in the shareholdership going from institutional long-term investors to much more short-term investors. And I would say that was at the origin of the economic crisis. This perversion of the original stakeholder concept.
One of the other key speakers here at the conference is Rajib Day. He's the CEO and founder of internships.com. And Rajib, you've got a little bit to say about the future and the different mindset that the business schools need now.
Definitely. So I've just spoken to the business schools about entrepreneurship as a career path and how Gen Y, so to speak, are having alternative views towards work and the workplace. The Amba study shows that over 25% of business school students are setting up ventures. And so we really need to embrace entrepreneurship. And as Professor Schwab said in his speech, that we need to be training the future generation of entrepreneurs rather than just managers.
You have this rather neat line that you just were telling me earlier. It's don't take a job.
Yes, exactly. It says don't take a job, make a job. In the current climate with unemployment at an all-time high and recession and redundancies, it's all about entrepreneurs creating wealth and jobs for the future.
I know you wouldn't want to come here and criticise your august colleagues from business schools around the world, but are they perhaps being a little bit, shall I say, reactionary in their approach? Are they really geared up for the change that you and Professor are calling for?
I think some of the business schools are really leading the way on promoting entrepreneurship, and I think a lot more can be done. So I think universities are having business plan competitions, incubators, and setting up enterprise societies, which are all great. I really think they need more role models. They need to really showcase MBAs that have gone out there, trailblazed the path, so to speak, and set up their own businesses, and really saying that entrepreneurship is a viable and rewarding career path.
And how much do you think the actual curriculum of what MBAs have done would need to change to incorporate this change that you're talking about?
So I think traditionally MBAs have been very much about learning how to run a large corporation, and often that can be far removed from the realities of setting up a startup. So I think it needs to embrace the new models, new technologies, looking at how people are building businesses with next to no money, and some of the business schools I know are already doing this, but I think more can be done.
A final question, is this change in thinking a response to this global recession? The sense you can't look to someone else to give you a job anymore?
I think there is an element of that. I think traditionally many MBA students would be looking at the corporate career path in banking, law, accountancy, and what we're seeing is that with less jobs available and with changing kind of mindsets, that they are looking at entrepreneurship as an alternative route.
Bradford University School of Management has one of the longest established and most highly respected MBA programmes in the UK. It combines a flexible syllabus with strong business ties to give its students the best possible learning experience. Carolyn Sim went to the heart of the Yorkshire Dales to find out more.
Few places can match the distinctive and picturesque surroundings of Bradford University School of Management in Yorkshire. An elegant and historic Parkland campus is situated on the edge of the Yorkshire Dales. A Victorian manor house and some of Yorkshire's finest heritage buildings are combined with state-of-the-art teaching facilities, brand new Harvard-style lecture theatres and breakout rooms. It's not hard to see why the Financial Times consistently ranks Bradford as the North's #1 business school.
I wouldn't be here without the MBA. This place transformed my life.
Adrian Nixon came to the school as a chemist and then trained as a management consultant.
I wanted to get a better understanding of strategic insights and to understand how all the different bits of the business work together. That's what this place does for you. It helps you understand how all the different specialisms in a business work together and then work in a successful way to interact with their environment.
Bradford has an enviable international reputation. The opportunity to study abroad is a huge part of its appeal. Established partnerships with international organisations equip students for today's global business world. It's a supportive environment, providing students with the flexibility to customise their courses. Whether they're studying the MBA full-time, part-time or by distance learning, Bradford's unique learning pathways can be adapted to suit each student's needs.
There's a lot of flexibility built into the programme from the international perspective. We have a number of partners in Europe and elsewhere in the world, and because the programmes are synchronised, then it enables students who are studying, for example, in Hong Kong or Singapore, to come to Bradford, to take a module at Bradford. Likewise, students here could travel to Perugia and we'll be able to take modules there in Italy or with our partners in the Netherlands or in France or Spain.
Here is completely different, it's more interactive. We make more case studies, activities that really get you in touch with what will you do when you work.
Academic perspective is one, but professional perspective is what we get here, makes all the difference.
A few minutes' drive from the campus is the Yorkshire Model Mill Town and World Heritage Site of Saltaire, made famous by the Victorian philanthropist and pioneer Sir Titus Salt. Here we met Delroy Beverley, whose company offers MBA students senior management placements. They work on business-critical projects, solving real problems.
You know, this is about equipping them for the future. They provide what can only be described as a talent pool of individuals able to deliver 21st century projects.
The campus's historic Heaton Mount building is home to executive education programmes. Each year, corporate clients like Morrison's, Pace, the NHS and Emirates regularly send their managers here to further develop their skills.
The management education we deliver can be practically applied into the world of work. So we can help students who are new to the world of work to actually develop their skills before they leave us, or we can bring working managers back into the school to help develop their skills. What does it say? It says that we see that there always has to be a link between management education and the world of work, and we try and link those two together.
The School of Management appointed me as a dean, and I think that's quite an important step because actually I'm a business practitioner by background. I worked for 23 years for Shell. So it's a business school that is giving due credence to the importance of having real in-depth knowledge of what organisations are really about, as well as the superior research that we engage in here.
Bradford University School of Management gives students world-class skills and knowledge which they will use throughout their careers. MBA students leave here with a vast network of contacts along with the skills to best use them for success in their future careers. Sustainable, flexible and international, Bradford is a world-class business school developing world-class leaders and truly making knowledge work.
One of the fastest growing and most important economies in the world, India has the potential for business on a global scale. Students from the Jain Institute of Management and Research are already having an impact at home and abroad. It goes beyond business. The Institute's unique social responsibility program means that students aim high, but their feet remain firmly on the ground. Piers Hopkirk reports now from Mumbai.
Mumbai, the business hub at the heart of India's elevation to economic superpower. And creating, nurturing and shaping the business leaders of tomorrow, the Jain Institute of Management and Research.
Challenging.
Exciting.
Unique.
We want our students to have all those great skills of businessmen. We also want them to become leaders of the human society. Over the past 2 decades, we've been able to create an institution which may be the answer for the 21st century.
The Institute is one of India's premier business schools. International surveys have rated several of its programs as among the best in the world, drawing together and combining Western efficiency with Eastern ethos, equipping students for the challenges of an increasingly globalized world. Pupils here are taught in a wider dimension. There's a focus on sensitizing students and creating greater levels of empathy and social awareness.
We hope that at the end of the day we would nurture business leaders who are contributors to society and not mere consumers. We want to see transformational leaders who not only work for their organization but for society at large as well.
Teaching is holistic to develop 3 key areas of knowledge, skills and attitude. Students mentor children from underprivileged backgrounds, working alongside NGOs to develop insights into social realities that would help them become more effective leaders.
Every single thing here is about giving back to society and making sure that we are sensitive to the society's need. And I think that makes me very proud about working here.
The Institute has also forged close links with industry.
We use this relationship to retain the currency of our curriculum. Also, because of our relationship with the industry, we are able to place all our students 100% and more very easily in the industry.
Many alumni of the Institute hold leading positions in Indian industry. Rajesh Jajurakar was responsible for launching one of the most successful automobile brands in India.
Jain has developed this very innovative pedagogy which allows students to go and prepare themselves for the real world, which is not just about learning and understanding strategies, but learning to win and succeed in a very competitive marketplace.
The Institute is linking with the world. It has a number of twinning, dual degree and other programs with some of the finest business schools in Europe, North America and Asia. Integrated campuses have been set up with sister institutions in Dubai and Singapore.
Our philosophy is that we want to tie up with like-minded schools around the world so that we can mutually work to enhance our presence on the world stage.
Jain gives you the opportunity to learn from a diverse array of business leaders and hence widen your horizons.
Here it's extensive peer learning while having lots of fun.
Innovation. Transformational.
creativity,
connected,
With its elegant buildings on the shores of Lake Zurich, the Lorange Institute of Business looks like a tranquil learning environment. But beneath the surface, it is also a powerhouse of innovation and forward thinking. Its founder believes that the key to success is independence. Charlotte Hume reports on how they're making the best better.
Lorange Institute of Business on the shores of Lake Zurich has been dubbed the business school of the future. It's a truly international institution with staff and students from all over the world. Its forward-thinking approach and innovative teaching means people in employment can continue working and complete one of their courses.
I think it's unique because we are trying to do innovations that I think a lot of people tacitly think need to be done.
We are boutique and small, and by this we are very flexible and fast in doing our decisions.
Their hand-picked global network of professors are all part-time and are recognised as leading experts in their fields. They work in pairs to deliver short, intense modular courses.
We attract faculty from all over the world which are really experts in these courses.
Lorange's independence makes them agile and adaptive to the needs of students who are encouraged to keep their full-time jobs.
Develop your insights further in very concentrated stints here, and you immediately practice it in your job.
The approach here is very much practice-oriented. It's very much about the current issues.
The core product is the MBA. Around that, Lorange offers more specialised courses. Embedded in each course is something called a living case.
The living case is like a case study, but it's real. Is a company that has an actual problem and they give it to us and we try to find a solution.
For these students attending the Talent and Intellectual Capital Management course, learning is collaborative and firmly rooted in the real world.
People in the class who comes from all different companies, different jobs, and we talk to each other, we discuss things, and the professors, they kind of feed off what we tell them.
I think it allows them to see and be exposed to conversations before they have to do that in their job. And so when they're exposed to these issues, that it doesn't shock them.
The Lorange Institute in Horgen lies in a beautiful setting, linked with high-speed trains to the rest of Europe and beyond through the international airport in Zurich.
Learning is so intimately connected with beauty, nature, light, and space.
The setting does produce this environment of, you come here to sort of engage. The way the physical layout is set up, it does produce a sense of team.
Lorange is proud that it's been accredited by Amba.
Accreditations in general are very important because they bring objectiveness into this variegated MBA market. They make the programs comparable, they make quality visible, and this is important for the students and the employers. And what we realized with Amba, we think that their standards are very up to date. They preserve the traditional academic standards while being open to new business developments.
Bringing together the worlds of global business practice and academic theory, Lorange understands the complex needs of its MBA and MSc degree students.
This will be an important model for the future.
You would hope that a professional who goes through an MBA education like this would walk away with a toolkit that is more diverse.
For people that really wanted to evolve quickly, that wanted to really be able to adapt themselves quickly, then it is a place to be.
Lorange Institute, proud to be the business school of the future.
Coming up later in the programme, traditional Maori culture meets modern business ideas in New Zealand. The best of Brazil hitting the heights of business in Rio. And in Monaco, the MBA school not gambling with its students' future. Association of MBAs TV brings you the biggest and most important names from across the industry. Later in the programme, we'll hear from the association's chief executive, Sharon Bamford. But first, I caught up with the association's president, Sir Paul Judge. Sir Paul, a dramatically changing economic world. How relevant are the Association of MBAs activities to employers today?
Well, as the world changes more rapidly, training is more important for those who control the world's resources and managers of organizations. And so the MBA and the Association of MBAs is even more relevant now in fast changing times. Employers want reassurance that the students that they are recruiting are good. Business schools want a way of comparing themselves and making sure they're moving forward as other business schools do. And the Association of MBAs can provide information and transparency to all of the audiences, the students, the alumni, the employers, and the business schools themselves.
Does the MBA mean different things to people according to the country in which they took the course?
Well, every course is different, but the requirement to reach a standard is universal. And the Association of MBAs, through its accreditation scheme, makes sure of that for the best business schools. We now have over 175 business schools accredited in 70 countries around the world. And that is really the standard which all business schools aspire to. And it gives a guarantee that the course will really be transformational for the students who go on it.
Would a course be adapted according to the economic circumstances of the country in which it was being taught?
The course content will of course change depending on the state of development of the country. But of course one of the great things about a really good MBA is that there are people from many countries on the course, and not only international students but international faculty and international businessmen coming to talk to the students in seminars and lectures. And so the whole purpose of an MBA is to equip people with the skills they need in this very complex international world.
Does the MBA have any real competition, or is it basically the global standard?
Well, the MBA is generally reckoned to be the most universal of all of the degrees. It's more similar between countries than almost any other form of degree. And the way in which it operates has, in the last few years, become even more similar as the world has connected very much more. And through the internet, students in different business schools can communicate and indeed do teamwork exercises with students in other.
For New Zealand's Maori, community and connections are everything, and that applies to business too. It's a concept being embraced by the Waikato Management School in Hamilton. And as Andrew Potter reports, such creative thinking could become a benchmark for Indigenous communities all over the world.
An Indigenous culture more than 700 years old, working with the world-renowned MBA program, helping shape the business leaders of tomorrow.
I learnt all about myself, was able to encompass all of the tools to be able to, function at a higher level in regards to being an inspirational leader.
Waikato Management School at the University of Waikato offers a unique study environment in New Zealand's heartland. On the banks of the Waikato River in the city of Hamilton, it's a vibrant and multicultural place to learn.
You walk away with a bunch of valuable relationships, both with people at the school and with your classmates that you've been through this tumultuous course with.
Those cultural connections are of no greater importance than in the school's own backyard. That's why the MBA is also available at the Waikato Tainui College at the Hopu Hopu residential campus. It's this environment where many of New Zealand's native Māori feel more comfortable studying.
One of the things that we know about ourselves is that as a people is that we like a living and learning environment. So we call it a wānanga environment where people come, they live together, they learn together, and it creates a unique setting.
The Māori contribution to New Zealand's economy is growing rapidly.
And then here we have our student collection of theses, so that's the one.
And there are parallels between the experience of Māori in business and one of the world's fastest emerging economies, China.
The Maoris depend quite a lot on connections and knowing who each other.
Chinese also depend quite a lot on connection in their business.
New Zealand may be isolated with a small population, but it's a resourceful country which prides itself on punching well above its weight in today's global knowledge economy.
It's being able to recognize that we are as good as those guys in Europe or those guys in the United States or in China, and that we have the skills and abilities.
Waikato Management School certainly holds its own on a world stage. Built on a model of sustainability and continuous improvement, it holds the elite Triple Crown and was last year awarded the AA, CSB and Equus accreditations for the maximum 5 years.
It's quite clear that we had excellent accreditation teams from top 10 universities around the world who came, who looked, who turned over the stones and saw that we are a very good school.
Thank you for coming.
The Waikato faculty are active researchers, helping bring fresh ideas.
This is what the MBA participants need to be looking into.
You could be in a lecture and the person teaching you the day before could have been in front of a board running major companies, and for me that's just invaluable information.
Links to the local business community are strong, especially with PricewaterhouseCoopers, which partners the Waikato Management School MBA, providing invaluable advice to students and graduates.
From our perspective and from the management school's perspective, there's massive value in investing in our future leaders.
Gives you a bit more confidence, self-confidence that you back yourself alongside a very good management school, that you can go back to your business, you can be assured you've got the right tools to help you. And you understand a bit more the bigger picture.
The Waikato Management School at the University of Waikato, taking a very different approach to offer an MBA educational experience like no other.
We talked to some delegates about what they've seen at the conference so far.
I think MBA program is the perfect platform for management to continue with a lifelong education. Not only are we giving them the knowledge, management business knowledge, but we're also teaching them the competencies to build on, how to learn to be a future business leader.
What I think is clearly coming out in this conference, because of we having people from all the different continents, is that the complexity in terms of the emerging markets and students have to be educated to deal with all these new emerging markets is something that is a very important key element of MBA programs of the future.
I've learned that we're in a very difficult business, that our business model needs questioning, that we have certain responsibilities, and I've learned that we probably have to look at our educational theory, that we have to better draft sort of curriculum that are more open to some of the social problems. I've also learned, but I think by a lack of this debate, I think that we have some political issues that need to be discussed and we're not really discussing them. We have a tendency to over-focus on business ethics and corporate social responsibility without better looking at the fundamental political questions of what we want to do with the wealth that we're creating.
The competencies of global entrepreneurship will be the key for all the MBA program development. So teach MBAs to learn to be globally competent for entrepreneurship.
With preparations underway to host the World Cup final in 2014 and the Olympics in 2016, Brazil is one of the countries of the moment. And with the economy stable for the first time in decades, it's the perfect time to choose Rio de Janeiro as the place to do your MBA. Sarah Lockett reports now from eBayMec.
Rio de Janeiro, Brazil's second largest city. Not always sunny, but always exciting. The home of Carnival, Samba and Copacabana Beach. And in the shadow of Christ the Redeemer on Sugarloaf Mountain, right next to the Atlantic seafront, sits IBMEC, a private university specializing in business and economics.
What makes IBMEC outstanding is a devotion to serve. We put our students first and foremost in our preoccupation. And the mix of rigor in accessibility, making a place where people actually learn. We use a blend of methodology that brings the market to IBMEC and our students to the market. And this is not just lip service like many providers around the world say, oh, we are market-oriented. No, we live the market.
Some 100 international students are currently studying for Amba accredited MBAs in a number of subjects. They get the added benefit of contact with a particularly Brazilian way of doing business.
The nice thing about sending one student from, let's say, a business school, a very good business school in France to Brazil, is that here, this student will be exposed to different cultures, into a different way of doing business. We have this Brazilian flexibility, this Brazilian way of looking at one problem, and to some extent this has to do with our cultural heritage, the so-called Iberian Jewish heritage that Brazil has, and also with our African influence. I think all of those things together represent one strong enrichment, and our students, including our international students, like this.
IBMEC have the MBA I wanted, and the content, it was very attractive for me.
IBMEC has an open mind vision, and for me that's very important because I can receive the knowledge that I need to my career.
IBMEC's undergraduate programs have the highest ranking from Brazil's Ministry of Education, and the executive programs compete with the best in the world. Courses are also tailor-made for individual companies.
We decided that we should listen to the market in order to make programs for them. We analyze, we get our professors, go to the company to decide, to see what they want to do, what's the aim to talk about leadership and finance, and we provide a program tailor-made for them. This is a big differentiation of our school.
It's a good time for Brazil, which hosts the World Cup in 2014 and the Olympics in 2016. IBMEC is ahead of the curve.
And then we have a lot of events like World Cup and also Olympic Games. So we are preparing people to work in all these events, but also in the oil and gas industry, because there is a huge demand of professionals in all the areas. Not only engineers, but also business administration, law and economics, all these people.
Students at IBMEC come mainly from South America, but that's set to change as exchange agreements are set up with more and more business schools around the world.
The casino, the yachts, even the Grand Prix. Monaco has many claims to fame, but this principality on France's Côte d'Azur is also a great place to do business. The MBA program at the International University of Monaco offers a unique learning and networking experience, as Nick Thatcher now reports.
Monaco has a reputation for style and sophistication, but it's also one of the top centres for business in Europe and a unique place to learn, network and succeed.
Monaco may be known for many different reasons, but it is also home to one of the leading business schools in the world, the International University of Monaco.
And from its very beginning, more than 20 years ago, the MBA programme at the university has been unlike any other. IUM attracts a select and diverse student body from around the world and prides itself on its small class sizes.
I think my favourite thing about IUM and Monaco in general is really the small community, the close-knit nature of things here, and how you really get to know everybody on a very personal level.
We have a lot of different nationalities, and we can learn from people from all over the world.
Well, it's a very dynamic place. It's an international environment, and since it's very small, we all get along very well and learn together.
Any decent accredited MBA program anywhere in the world will provide students with the tools, the mindsets, and the concepts necessary to be good managers. What the Monaco MBA program can offer is far more than that. In Monaco, students have the ability to meet and network with industrialists, with CEOs, with entrepreneurs from all over the world, and to begin to build the kinds of connections which will help them in their professional and personal lives.
And that relationship with companies of all sizes allows for mentoring opportunities from local businesses and collaboration on corporate projects.
They are very dedicated to the program. We see them very often, and they are bringing some work. They are helping us a lot, and they are applying what they are learning right now in the universities. So it's really a good collaboration, and we are very happy with that.
We have lots of different local businesses, shipping, finance, luxury, all of which we have a lot of contact with. They get used to working with diverse teams, multicultural teams, and I think working across these different industries and across these different cultures is a very enriching experience for them.
And adding some students, it adds really some fresh air. And having really a team of motivated young people, it's very positive for all the companies.
So it may come as no surprise to learn that IUM enjoys one of the highest placement rates upon graduation of any MBA program. And many of those who choose to study in Monaco stay on here afterwards to join global companies based here or to successfully build their own businesses.
They allowed me to access the local business community, but also the local government. So you have a perfect bridge to cross after graduation and stay in the area.
The diversity that the university shows in their student body and professors' body, so it really gives you a different perspective and allows you to integrate any kind of team, any kind of company, work worldwide, and be self-assured about what you're doing.
IUM is helping students graduate with the business skills, practical experience and personal development that will serve them for life as confident business people and the entrepreneurs of tomorrow.
Still to come on Association of MBAs TV, a Japanese business school aiming to find its students' hidden talents. Sharon Bamford, Chief Executive of the Association of MBAs, looks ahead to the conference. And modern business ideas from the heart of classical Greece. Cape Town is regarded as one of the most dynamic cities on earth, a place where people have always met to share ideas and do business. The University of Stellenbosch Business School takes things a step further. It wants students to think beyond the world of business and embrace a culture of social responsibility. Bethany King explains more.
Set on a hilltop overlooking the picturesque city of Cape Town in South Africa is the University of Stellenbosch Business School. The USB's received recognition and accolades from an impressive array of local and global bodies. It's the only South African university business school which is internationally accredited by both Equus and Amba.
A business school like ourselves, which sit in Southern Africa, and yet which benchmarks itself and is authenticated by the rest of the world, sits in a very special position. Because we face into Africa and we can speak with real authority about the relevance of concepts, frameworks, understanding, knowledge generated in the developed world and its projection into the problem space of Africa.
The USB hosts MBA students from some of the most prestigious schools in the world. Two strategic objectives define all aspects of curriculum development at the business school, namely through leadership and research.
The business of academics in business schools is to think better, more clearly, differently if necessary, to have the courage to stand up and say, I don't see the world the way that you do.
South Africa is a complex, multifaceted society, giving students first-hand insights into how to thrive in a global multicultural environment, guided by academics who speak with authority based on real and personal experience in the business sphere.
I feel the issues of transformation and the issues of radical change
is so pertinent and relevant to us in South Africa that we are dealing with it on a day-to-day basis, and therefore we're in a good position to impart those learnings and that knowledge to the students who come here.
Leadership development is a key focus of the USB experience, aimed at enabling students to think outside silos and follow an integrated approach to solving organisational problems.
USB, I chose it because of the international reputation and the standards. And when I looked at the syllabus, I noticed that USB don't just focus on the traditional business and finance they also focus on the leadership. And one person, I also want to specialize in management consulting. So that's why I decided to come to USB.
Beyond building leadership and managerial capacity, the USB believes in being socially relevant and responsible. Its social impact initiative, funded by its alumni, helps to raise funds for bursaries and scholarships, supports local charities, and runs a highly subsidised management programme for non-profit organisations.
The benefit of coming onto the program and taking it back to that organization from which that person comes from is what we call a multiplier effect, the effect where you're plowing it forward. What we mean by that is that the beneficiary community of that organization would be benefiting from the new skills, from the new way of doing things, and from that expertise that has been picked up. That transcends into South Africa as well as to the rest of Africa.
The principles of sustainable human development are ingrained in the academic fabric of every programme they offer. It drives the research they undertake and the critical thinking they encourage.
It is about the way in which business positions itself in society, the way in which business utilises resources, the way in which business address stakeholder engagement and stakeholder management. So they leave with a different understanding of what responsibility and sustainability is all about, and they leave with a sense of hope that they can actually make a difference right there where they work.
We have to engage in society around us, because ultimately it is society which in the long term will provide our future.
I just love the vibe, the atmosphere, the people are very friendly and open, and I get a type of energy from the mountain. It's maybe a bit weird, but I love it. I love the city, and I feel very at ease to be able to learn in such an environment.
The University of Stellenbosch Business School is the preferred knowledge partner of the world in Africa and of Africa in the world. It's a bridge of understanding between emerging and developing economies in one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Earlier in the programme, I spoke to the association's president, Sir Paul Judge. Another driving force is Sharon Bamford. The association's CEO is a job she combines with a successful business career. When we met for a chat, I started by asking her about the main themes at this year's conference.
Working and living in a very complex global environment, the business schools need to address this. And I think it's an important message to the wider community that the business schools are being seen to address this throughout their curricula. So we're looking at leadership, and our guest speaker, our keynote to open the conference, Klaus Schwab, is a great example not only of leadership in his own right, but also what he is doing in bringing global leaders together to discuss the really complex issues that business faces in today's environment.
Are there any particular trends that you would highlight?
Well, our recent careers survey published this year showed that both faculty and students highlighted the importance of creativity, innovation and entrepreneurship.
Is there any new thinking, new ideas about how an MBA should progress in today's increasingly complex world?
Absolutely, and business schools are responding fast to the rapidly changing environment, but also in the way that they deliver MBAs. Global talent is moving fast around the world, and the MBA has to respond to that. So not only is there blended learning, the opportunity to perhaps combine their MBA in Singapore and then a module perhaps in Dubai, or move their MBA around the world, there's also changes in the way that the MBA is delivered. The introduction, for example, in some of the business schools of iPad, and all information being downloaded onto the iPad, and a move away completely from written and books to everything on a technology platform.
What do you think are the main challenges that business schools are facing now as opposed to, say, a year ago?
I think that's dependent very much on the regulatory environment in which the business school is situated. As a global organisation, we're very aware of the challenges, for example, in Australia that they currently face, vis-à-vis those in the UK. And if I just take our UK example, student visas and the undergraduate fees that are being set by the government embrace a number of challenges that business schools will need to respond to. But business schools are still recruiting well throughout the globe. The MBA is still respected, and students, as well as the employers, are still seeing real value in the skills that an MBA gives them.
Is the association having to embrace new ideas and take new steps in order to help and encourage business schools in the current climate?
Well, certainly we've enhanced our work in the policy arena. So we have been working with both the UK government and international governments on key regulatory issues that will affect the movement of global talent, the recruitment of students. And when we look at a business environment, a business school environment, students are moving around the world for internships. So an international student coming to study in Paris, as part of their MBA, they may be doing a consultancy internship in a company in China, and the following term on a study tour in Brazil. So this complex global world in which we work in has been embraced by the business schools, but not necessarily embraced by the visa and regulatory environment that we find ourselves operating in. So we're working with our governments around the world to highlight the importance of education, the economic importance and the economic contribution that MBAs themselves, with their knowledge and network, and the fees and spend that they bring to a local economy, how important that is to governments around the world, and how important these students as the next generation of global leaders are to governments.
What ingredients do you need to make the perfect MBA? The quality of teaching is vital to the success of any course, but what separates a great course from a good one is the research that underpins the way business is understood. From Alba in Athens, Helen Wright explains what they mean by business unusual.
Combining the academic with the entrepreneurial and teaching excellence with visionary research, Alba is one of Europe's leading graduate business schools, and its faculty has helped graduates excel. Alumni have found particular success in the European Business Plan of the Year competition.
Alba has been very fortunate through the effort of our students that in the last 10 years that we participate, we hold 3 of the top spots, which demonstrates of how hard they work and the training, I think, that they receive through the MBA program.
One competition winner says the Alba MBA gave him the know-how to set up a nanotechnology firm.
As an engineer, I had many ideas in my mind, and the process of Alba, the course of Alba, really helped me evolve those ideas into everyday practice and taught me the tools in order to realize my dreams.
Alba's faculty has extensive teaching, research and consulting experience at international level, which students value highly.
They have a vast number of years of experience and also a lot of expertise, and I think they bring a very interactive and challenging environment to the class, pushing us not only as individuals but also as a group.
And it's research that's at the heart of Alba's drive to generate and disseminate new knowledge.
We have 29 publications in the 4-star category, which is the top category, and plus more than 48 publications in the category 4. We think it's very crucial of research not to be, let's say, staying within the ivory towers, but to have impact on the business community.
That approach was vital for Catherine Delacoura, who took a leadership course designed by Alba for her employer, Eurobank.
I think what their competitive advantage is that they link theory with practice, and this is what we, the professionals, do need. I mean, we do need to link theory from the academic world with practice of the corporate world.
Catherine's managerial colleagues say Alba's courses have helped them strengthen their teams.
We've seen lots of people trying to evolve in the way of strengthening parts of their management talents that they have been doing well, and trying to fix other parts that were a little bit lagging. So overall, it's been an evolutionary tool, and we have seen a significant effect towards this direction.
Eurobank is one of 91 corporate members of Alba and regularly recruits graduates, believing they have what it takes.
They are able to combine both technical skills, but also the ethical part. We have to be able to combine the very demanding business targets we're having, but at the same time, keep an eye on the society and integrity and ethical part of our business.
Such strong industry links mean Alba has an exemplary placement record for alumni.
In the good times, we were able to measure 90% placement 4 months after graduation. Now this year, which is a very bad year for the job market in Greece, we're measuring 83 to 85%. The feedback we get from recruiters is that our graduates are able to hit the road running very fast and they're productive immediately after being hired.
It's Alba's mission to create business leaders not just for today, but for tomorrow. Men and women who will be catalysts of change, both at work and in society.
That ethos is expressed in Alba's motto, business unusual.
Most business schools are conservative institutions. We're not. We're risk takers and entrepreneurs. So this describes why we're business unusual. So far we are only in the graduate business education, but I think there are many opportunities for us to enter in different markets. So I do think that we have a bright future.
Alba offers a full and part-time MBA and specialist banking, shipping and executive MBAs. Its courses are Amba accredited. The school offers the best of Greek city and coast, business acumen and flair, yet never forgets its history and social responsibility.
MBA courses are constantly under pressure to keep up with an increasingly complex business landscape. A few years ago, you didn't hear much about corporate responsibility. Now it's a vital part of the bigger business picture. And that's exactly what Hull University Business School offers its students. Edward Barron went to Yorkshire to find out how.
Today, the business world is more complex than ever. A bit like this busy distribution centre, each detail must be in place, but everything in the bigger picture is interconnected. Hull University Business School's MBA programmes reflect this way of thinking and help students work towards innovative solutions.
Everything is interconnected. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're doing HR or IT.
Each model, we get people coming from industry to give 2-hour or 3-hour lecture, and that is very, to me, imperative.
Business doesn't fit into little compartments, and it's all just one holistic way of looking at things.
The mix of the class is just fantastic. You know, it's really, really international, and getting to mix people from all over the world is one of the reasons why I wanted an international MBA like this.
Hull University Business School's MBA programmes attract students from right across the world, and the school is looking to bring in more of the very brightest talent. The MBA here has recently been completely redesigned to focus on the concept of connected thinking, an approach which builds an understanding of complexities in the global business environment.
Many business problems today are complex and multifaceted. They can't be understood using simple tools and techniques. They actually relate to an understanding of different branches of knowledge which need to be brought together holistically to get a more rounded view of business problems and to be able to deal with them too. It is a practical approach as well as something that works in theory.
That practical approach is obvious here at one of the business school's corporate partners, the safety clothing and equipment business, Arco.
Our turnover is £220 million per annum. It's beyond coincidence that we're using Hull more and more. It's based on the calibre of the teaching, it's the calibre of the output we see in our graduates. Each and every one of the graduates who has come out comes out with a broader knowledge of business. They've brought with them some business models which we are able to use practically within the business.
Hull MBA graduates are already among some of ARCO's senior management.
So the course was really fantastic. So now I work in customer service as a customer service manager. It gives me an appreciation for the role of finance, the role of supply chain and logistics, and how all of those things come together. It's enabled me to really manage complex business problems by them teaching themes as opposed to topics. So things like corporate social responsibility and ethics, which are very important to ARCO and to the business school.
An important element of what we do also is to reflect on some of the corporate social responsibility, ethics and sustainability issues that have been current for such a long time, but to really bring those to the fore of our MBA programme.
As recognition of its responsible and innovative approach to research, learning and teaching, Hull University Business School has recently been awarded the prestigious Triple Crown of accreditations from Amba, Equis and AACSB. This places it among the top 1% of business schools in the world.
I've been here 10 years and I think it's like a football club that's come from the Championship to the Premiership and is really getting very high in the Premiership now. I think the students are very proud and very pleased we have those accreditations. They see it as yet again evidence that we are a top quality business school and also that their MBA will be worth more to them and to their employers.
So complex as today's business world may be, Hull University Business School is helping students go a long way towards making sense of it and bring responsible and ethical business values to their own careers.
Japan is known the world over for its unique and successful approach to doing business. And that philosophy starts in its business schools. The Nagoya University of Commerce and Business is Japan's only association of MBAs accredited school. It aims to develop the hidden talents of students to prepare them for the global stage. Bethany King explains.
The city of Nagoya in the industrial heartland of Japan is home to a top-tier business school that boasts one of the best environments for studying global management in this part of the world.
Our mission statement of the graduate school says that the frontier spirit as well as the global perspectives are the two key words in our business school. We have created partner schools all over the world. We have now at least 60 universities as our global partners. And we have introduced the new pedagogy by using the case methods. I think those 2 points are the main factors that characterizes our business school.
NUCB is Japan's only Amba accredited business school. This and other distinguished accreditations reflect the relentless efforts by the school to offer incomparable education quality, benefiting from its proximity to some of the leading conglomerates in today's global economy.
まずこの場所は伏見という場所にありまして、ここは皆さんご存知のトヨタの本社にヘッドクォーターに一番近い場所になります。で、彼らの例えばトヨタが今何を考え、名古屋で日本でどんな展開をしているか、そういったことをですね、直に肌で学ぶことができます。
The compact, well-designed urban campus combines a real-world pedagogical approach to give a sense of connectedness. What NUCB offers goes well beyond the usual university experience and immerses the students into the practical lifestyle of global business leaders.
NUCB and Nagoya was so attractive for the industry around the city. The best practices that I'm learning in the classes with the case studies help me to develop a clear strategy for my own business. The interactions between the professors and the alumni, it's completely different from Europe, USA. So it helped me to understand how can we share the concepts with the enterprises. Sometimes they know the problem and we need to find the way to explain how can they do it better. And I think the Japanese style helped me to sell the ideas to them.
NUCB brings together a select group of students and a world-class faculty under one roof. The amazing variety of backgrounds and the school's emphasis on offering a broad range of topics in the curriculum creates the ideal educational atmosphere that nurture future entrepreneurs.
Most of the student level is a manager in many Japanese large firms. We have approximately 70 lecturers who has come from not only Japan but also the international schools. And many student lecturers have a bunch of experience of real business world. And our business school proud of providing the tangible experience in business world into the classrooms.
State-of-the-art research facilities, intensive MBA courses in both English and Japanese, and a solid connection to a region at the forefront of Japan's business and technology are all factors that contributed to the school's success story. Therefore, it comes as no surprise that NUCB is the first MBA programme in Japan to hold dual accreditation from both AACSB International and the Association of MBAs.
Global MBA program provides a global mindset to the students and the possibility to network with people all around the world, and I think it's a perfect opportunity to be a global future leader.
NUCB invites you to a world of learning and growth, where progress is measured by the day and networks are built for a lifetime.
Is it the letters attached to the person or the person attached to the letters that will make the best business leader of the future? That's the question that industry experts have been discussing with delegates at this year's conference. Lloyd Bracey has been listening to some of the key speakers. Lloyd, a lively discussion?
Yes, Martin, it has been quite a lively session, and one of the key themes to emerge has been the question of ethics, of business ethics. Should MBA providers teach them? Indeed, can they teach them?
The first question I was asked to address was, can values be taught in business schools? And my answer is no. Is it right to teach them to adults? My answer is no. And is there a deficiency in values and teamwork? And my answer is, it depends. Now, I've been asked to keep strictly to time, so I'm tempted to say thank you and good afternoon.
We take a lot of the excellent, raw talent that comes from your sources, and we hope to supercharge their careers to be leaders of the world. And when this topic came up, I was like, yes, this is fantastic. It's a nice niche in terms of how McKinsey sees its role and how we see leadership and the qualities around leadership, particularly around values.
We have been talking about values, but if it is still a slide or a frame on the wall, it's totally useless. Can we talk about values and can we teach values in MBA? I think we need to find a way.
Now, one of the speakers who's from outside the world of the MBA is this gentleman, who is Jean-François Baril, and he is the Senior Vice President of Sourcing and Procurement with Nokia. You spoke, Monsieur Baril, about what you call leading by values, managing by facts. What does that mean?
In fact, at Nokia, it's very, very important to combine the soft skills and the hard skills. In our world, okay, there's a lot of traffic of different parts, component businesses. And we need to have a very robust analytical view on how to manage the things. But if we want to win, if we want to get to the gold medal, we believe that adding the soft skills of interpersonal skills or leadership or understanding other people, I think it's very, very important.
What's brought about this change in thinking, or do you think you've always thought that way at Nokia?
This has been very common at Nokia thinking from day one. I mean, at day one in the era of wireless business, of course. And I believe this is one of the rich attributes of Nokia in terms of leadership, overall leadership. I think it is not to run in like a mechanical view the business, but it is to be very sensitive to the human dimension of the business. At the end of the day, business is done with people for people. So I think we should not forget this is not only equations and numbers.
And do you think that the MBA providers are equipping the people who come to you, who come to work in Nokia, with the right skill set to do what you've just described?
I think most of what we have observed from MBA programs, they are very, very capable to develop people on the analytics, on the financials aspect, on the human resources principle, but I'm sure they don't insist enough on the true soft skills of the hard side of, if I can say that, from the brain, which is well taught in business schools. But I think the heart dimension is probably a poor parent in this equation.
But it must change from what you're saying.
Absolutely, absolutely, because the world has changed. It is not about who is going to win here. It is how we get through a team, a better attraction for other people in this ecosystem that we try to create.
Much more to come on the programme, including a tale of two cities, how two Russian business schools prepared their students for the global market, and anytime, any place, anyhow, the open approach to the MBA. A few years ago, you'd have never associated the old Soviet Union with a free market economy. But all that has changed, and the Synergia Institute in Moscow is at the cutting edge of business education. For the first of two reports from Russia, here's John Gilbert.
Moscow, a city of old and new. And at the heart of modern Russian business lies Moscow's Synergia Institute.
Synergy Business School has been a part of global education and business area for more than 20 years. Practice-oriented programs offered by Synergy Business School ensure that our graduates are in demand in the global job market. We provide knowledge and skills based on the best practice of running a business both in Russia and abroad.
Hello. Hello. My name is Catherine. I'm a head of admissions committee. Nice to see you in Synergia Business School.
Synergia International Business School has produced more than 20,000 managers and other specialists in both private and public sectors.
We've got a lot of interesting programs and masterclass that always up to date.
Synergia was founded in 1988 at the start of the perestroika era of economic renewal. It was one of Russia's first ever business schools, and that's a spirit of initiative it retains to this day.
Synergia's academics produced numerous published works, amongst them more than 100 monographs annually, which are actively applied in the education process.
В Международной школе бизнеса «Синергии» мы сочетаем лучшие традиции российского образования с передовым зарубежным опытом, что позволяет нам готовить слушателей в соответствии с требованиями российского и зарубежного рынка труда. Мы также учитываем нестабильную экономическую ситуацию в стране, следствием которой является предъявление повышенных требований к профессиональным знаниям специалистов. И мы воспитываем в наших слушателях одно из важнейших умений менеджера, умение реагировать на изменения рыночной ситуации и адаптироваться к ним. Для этого мы уделяем много внимания изучению передовых тенденций мирового рынка.
Prince Michael of Kent recently opened Synergia's British Educational Centre in Moscow. And as part of a commitment to cross-border educational programs, it'll soon be joined by a dedicated Synergia London branch, allowing development of global business relationships and compliance with international educational standards.
The main objective of London branch of Synergia Business School is broadening of educational space to our students. Generally, we are striving to provide our students with a very flexible study program, and we want to enhance it further by providing the possibility of starting the educational process in Moscow, and the final year is to be taught here at our London facilities.
Amongst Synergia's honorary professors number many world-famous businessmen and academics. Amongst them, international marketing expert Nicholas Chance, Dean of Durham University Business School Professor Rob Dixon, international investment specialist Dmitry Bosky, Director of the Moscow School of Political Science Lord Robert Skidelsky, and founder of Cambridge University Business School Sir Paul Judge.
Our mission is to help people and companies achieve success. We are accomplishing this mission successfully, basing on such values as leadership, innovation, entrepreneurship. We keep ourselves informed on the tendencies of business education development.
Moscow's Synergia Institute. Russian experience, Western thinking.
Now, back to the conference floor where Lloyd Bracey has been joined by the Association of MBA's accreditation guru, Dr. Robert Owen. Lloyd.
Well, Martin, he's far too modest ever to refer to himself as a guru, I'm sure. Dr. Owen, accreditation from the association really is the baseline. I mean, no one need run a school unless they've got the accreditation. So what would you advise students to look for above the accreditation?
Okay. Well, our accreditation represents a threshold of quality that all schools must come above to gain accredited status. But there are other things that go beyond that, and that is one of the most important is internationalization. And that can come through curriculum content, which most schools can do that. Also the internationalization of their faculty, so whether the faculty is composed of faculty from all over the world, worldwide.
The teachers themselves?
Yeah, that's right. And whether students can have got opportunities for student exchange, so they can do part of the MBA at another school in another country.
Now, you've been doing this job since 1995. There's been a lot of change in a very short time, right. Most of it, I venture to say, in the last few years. But what do you detect have been the major changes since you first went into your office?
Well, MBA provision has become much more complex. When I started, there was just full-time, part-time, and maybe distance learning. Now schools are introducing flexible or blended learning programs. They're doing joint degrees with other schools to gain this international dimension. And there's also the use of technology, both in their marketing and also in their delivery.
Has the mindset changed a lot as well? Because in those days, I'm guessing you didn't hear a lot about corporate social responsibility. You didn't hear a lot about the ethics of the business, but you do now.
That's right. Over the last 10 to 15 years, there's been a gradual change in going from teaching just hard skills into teaching soft skills. And now more recently, the last 5 years, schools have introduced topics such as sustainability, CSR and ethics to go from the shareholder value focus to the stakeholder value focus.
And what about then looking ahead? What does the future hold? I mean, you've seen these changes in the last 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
What are you going to see in the next?
I think much more internationalization of MBA programs, exchange joint programs between schools, and more use of technology, learning at a distance.
And when you look to the future,
yes.
How optimistic are you?
I'm quite optimistic. When we go to schools to undertake assessments, we see a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of belief in what they're doing as well. And there's a general move towards producing the responsible manager, and that can only be beneficial to society in the long run.
The Open University has always been about helping people to study when they want, where they want, and how they want. Their MBA programme combines flexibility with an unrivaled support network across the UK and around the world. Sharon Thomas went to their stunning headquarters in Milton Keynes to find out more.
Established in 1969, the Open University was a major educational innovation of the late 20th century that demonstrated the ability to deliver quality learning at scale. Established in 1983 on the OU model, the business school, the only non-campus-based school to hold triple accreditation, is also the only school to specialise in practice-based learning.
I think the main distinguishing
feature is our powerful learning methodology. For the individual, this means that they can harness their everyday work as a platform for learning. What they learn today, they can put into practice today. It's nearness learning because we use technology to bring students close together, to bring the tutor close to the students, and above all, to bring ideas close to practical application. When I was lecturing at my previous institution, I lectured to a class of 450 students. Couldn't make out the colour of their jerseys in the back row. That's distance learning.
The majority of students studying the Open University MBA are currently working as managers, like Al Shah, who works full-time for GlaxoSmithKline.
My current role as social media service management is to try and get the organisation to embrace social media, share more about each other, and what I've brought into it from the MBA is how we can do a cultural change, how we can change the organisation from the paradigm that we had in the past of how we regimentedly approach things. Changing those ways of working into this kind of new open sharing culture was radically different, and the material from the OU helped me to achieve that. I used some models like Johnson's Web that looked at the current paradigm in terms of the kind of 6 facets of what stories and myths there are around, what power structures there are, etc. All that kind of model, but applying it in real life. What I found with the flexible learning and reading in my own time was that they were formulated in towards a TMA, that's a tutor marked assignment. And throughout the course, you have 3 or 4 of them that have to hit at certain times. What those assignments were the questions were worded in a way that it made you take an everyday problem in the workplace and look at it from a completely different perspective.
I just welcome your advice about
Bringing learning flexibility alongside work by using online technologies is a hallmark of the Open University.
What we're trying to do is design 3 aspects of their learning experience for them. The content and materials and the learning activities, the tuition and the support that they get from their associate lecturers, and the assessment that we do for them. We've had a number of students who've been recognised by the Association of MBAs, including one submarine captain who managed to take one of his exams while on exercise in the submarine.
In higher education, the big problem is inert knowledge. Throughout higher education. What's inert knowledge? Inert knowledge is all of that knowledge that you pick up as you're studying and gets used only ever for exams, never actually makes it into application in the real world. A really important part of what we do, of course, is that we work with people who are learning at the same time as they're working, and they're working in contexts that are really importantly relevant to how to the things they're studying. So what happens is it means that people can use their work as an important resource for their learning, as well as using their learning as an important resource for the work. The work and learning are informing each other all the time.
Nearness through the technology is one thing, but the human side is also there through residential schools, the small groups of like-minded students who are able to meet online as well as face-to-face, and by the OUBS team that is alongside every student.
Often people come out of a training course, they think they've understood what they need to do, but they don't apply it because there's a disconnect between the working life and what they've just learned. The OU material is nothing like that. The assignments are geared towards you having to use real work examples in your assignments. The Open University Business School has completely changed my outlook to life for the better. It's given me a better perspective on my home, life, work balance, everything. It's just so much better now.
With its established practice-based approach, flexible methodology and expertise in nearness learning, an Open University Business School MBA develops the student and contributes to solving current business problems for international businesses. Indeed, for companies and organisations of any size anywhere in the world, on land or under the sea.
Time now for our second report from Russia. St. Petersburg has always been known as Russia's gateway to Europe, drawing in the intellectual talent of the whole world. And that ethos is woven into the city's Graduate School of Management. It continues to bring together Eastern and Western academic knowledge and business practices, as John Gilbert has been finding out.
Centuries ago, Peter the Great brought Europe's greatest minds to St. Petersburg. Today, St. Petersburg University continues that tradition of excellence at its world-famous Graduate School of Management.
The school is definitely #1 in this market, recognized by international rankings, accreditations, and the global companies attracted to support the school. We certainly provide a unique knowledge about doing business not only in Russia but in other emerging countries, which are the locomotives of the world economy today.
Founded in 1993 in alliance with the Haas School of Business, University of California at Berkeley, within Russia's oldest research university, the Graduate School of Management is Russia's leading business school, offering a portfolio of Amba accredited programs, Russian language EMBA and English language EMBA with HEC Paris.
We have 2 executive MBA programs. One is for those who want to develop their career in Russia, and another ones who want to work for international companies in Russia or working for global market. We have participants who come from Germany, India, China, France. They are developing their career here.
You see on this wall we have portraits of international Russian business leaders who are affiliated with the school. For example, leaders of Sberbank of Russia, Russian Railway Roads, Procter & Gamble, L'Oreal, PricewaterhouseCoopers and other companies. They give guest lectures to our students. These companies are the members of our advisory board.
The school also excels in knowledge production. It's the largest producer of case studies on Russian business, with 120 cases and sets of teaching notes registered in the European Case Clearinghouse.
We started investing in our professors since the very beginning of this school. Since just 1995, we were completely sure that the success of the school is to a very high extent determined by the quality of teaching and the quality of research of our professors. And we invested them a lot.
And the school remains at the cutting edge of modern business practice.
The general expectation of a business student, especially on the level of MBA, executive MBA, not just to get diploma, but to get knowledge how to do business successfully or effectively. For today, even to talk about effectiveness of business without the general idea of corporate sustainability, it's absolutely no way even to discuss. And what we are trying to do, from the beginning, we are talking about CSR, not about some additions, not about to be nice for someone and somewhere. We are talking about modern style of doing effective business.
Historically, St. Petersburg was always seen as a kind of a bridge between East and West, and that marriage of cultures and ideas remains reflected in many of its academic institutions.
I need some insight from real business to understand what happens before become top management.
To visit the international companies in Russia and abroad, and that's really a great benefit for my future professional development.
Probably the best school in Russia. We also have a fantastic collaboration program with HSA that is the best school in Europe.
It's one of the best schools in the world, and I'm glad that I chose the school.
The world today is becoming not only global, but it's fast changing. And to learn how to adapt to this change, how to meet the challenges of the world, which is much more global than even 10 years ago.
St. Petersburg University Graduate School of Management. The bridge to global learning.
Durham's famous university has been an integral part of city life for 1,000 years, and its world-class business school aims to continue a tradition of academic excellence for generations to come. Students from all over the world are drawn to the city's relaxed atmosphere, and Estelle Matthews has been there to sample it.
Durham Business School is part of Durham University and one of the longest established business schools in the UK.
The school combines academic excellence, internationally rated research and strong support services to give students the very best business education.
We're looking to recruit an extremely diverse group of students on our MBA program. So we're looking for a variety of different nationalities. We're looking for a variety of functional discipline backgrounds. For all of our students, we're looking for a level of experience that's significant so that everybody can benefit from the classroom dynamic.
Students also benefit from the fact that Durham is a friendly, relaxed place to study, whilst at the same time having access to the extensive links and connections to the business and academic worlds that the business school can offer. Durham Business School consistently attracts a broad range of international students.
I like the community feel here because I think we have a very diversified cohort, which makes it not only benefit from the program itself, but we can learn from different cultures actually.
It's nice to be in a small city where within 30 minutes you can walk to everywhere you need to be, so the bars, the restaurants, the shops and the World Heritage Site.
Durham Business School provides a perfect blend of value for money as well as the program content.
Durham Business School, which has triple accreditation, is an internationally renowned research-led school, and it attracts considerable external funding.
We as academics are engaged in our own particular subject area with other people around the country, around the world. We're leading debates in those areas. We're aware of the contemporary issues that are going on. We're publishing that in the top journals. So all of that is fundamentally important to who we are.
At Durham Business School, faculty members are encouraged to bring their professional experience and academic knowledge into the classroom. The school also actively encourages its students to think globally, as well as give something back via an international study programme, resulting in mutual benefits for all involved.
I thought Sri Lanka was a really good experience to travel and learn about another country's culture and business in that culture.
These executive MBA alumni have been on such a trip to Sri Lanka.
Welcome to the Q3 meeting for
The boardroom activity plays an integral and exciting part of the MBA programme. The school offers a series of companies for the students to analyse and define the corporate strategy, and then to present their investment case to a boardroom chaired by an external executive. This role-play scenario is offered to both the full-time and the part-time executive programme.
The students then have to take apart the corporate strategy, analyse the accounts, analyse the sales and marketing strategies, and effectively rebuild them and represent them to the independent executive.
So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
What we do try to do is work with students in a rich environment, the richness provided by themselves as well as us, to develop their own careers, put a bit of time in for developing themselves before they go back to a rewarding career.
Durham Business School is one of the leading business schools in the UK and Europe, and first choice for many students looking to enhance their business knowledge and skills base, as well as their career prospects.